Welcome to SMSU Esports. This is your caster, Kram McGraw, joined by SMSU's head esports coach, Spencer Lawaji, or SLO, for our League of Legends match up against the South Dakota Coyotes. Coming out of pick and ban here, we have about 40 seconds before the game fully starts to load up, but we have a little bit to talk about here with pick and ban. Some SMSU kind of in their first three bans looking to sort of looks like they may be trying to ban out the mid and or the ADC for the Coyotes. SMSU themselves having the second round of picks, um, first picking Udyr and Kaisa,
Yep.
with the Coyotes first picking their Rel.
Yep. And Rel's really strong later. The new Leona, as some people say, really strong character. So SMSU decides to follow up with that early picking jungler, as it looked like they were gonna get pinched a little bit in draft, and they didn't want that pick to go too late into the game. Sorry, we're gonna black screen here as it loads in. It should be loading in momentarily. So they wanted to early pick that jungler, just make sure that they weren't gonna run into any problems with jungle getting pinched too hard. And then, we saw the Coyotes respond with a Mumu Caitlyn, which SMSU was really expecting that Mumu. Mumu's played a lot in their previous series, so they're really expecting that to happen. So
And
SMSU is pretty aware of that.
Amumu in the most recent patch that just came out 3 days ago, recently got a big buff to his tantrum, his E, which is a big part of his kit. Lets him get a lot of AoE damage out into team fights, but also for his jungle clears. Not as much damage first level, but once he gets it to the fifth level, he will be getting an extra 20 damage on it, base damage that is. Um, and he did get quite the buff to his base HP, going from 613 base HP to 615. So that extra 2 health is really going to help
For sure.
him.
Yeah, extra 2 health. It might come into play this game. We'll see if it does or doesn't. Looks like SMSU making an aggressive invade onto the blue buff here. It shouldn't have been spotted out by South Dakota at all. So hopefully, looks like SMSU might go for a quick early 3 buff here,
Yep.
as the Coyotes decided to stack the bush above their red buff
Yep.
with everyone instead. Cho'Gath leaving here. Let's see if he discovers this play.
Well, Cho'Gath walking into Fog of War doesn't have vision. SMSU has a ward there, so they're gonna know he's there.
Are they going to
Just
go on him? It looks like.
Udyr and
Oh,
Set.
there's the ward.
Oh, Set
So they
lets out
are
his
aware.
E, and Cho'Gath is gonna see that. So Cho'Gath
Yep.
knows they're here, but looks like he's just gonna leave to lane.
Yeah, and you can't contest here. This is still fine from SMSU. They also did ward their blue buff here, so it looks like they, even if a Mumu invades for that, they'll know and they'll be able to respond accordingly.
Yeah, Amumu losing that blue buff is a massive hit to his jungle clear. He really needs that mana regeneration from the blue buff early on.
I'm really
Um,
sad to see this aggressive take on Gromp. I kind of wanted a deer since they got caught out to notice that a Mumu is going to go for his blue and
yeah,
go fight him at it because he wins that fight. But he's just going to go ahead and settle for the trade by the looks of it. Unfortunate for SMSU. I think they could have gotten more from that, but it is what it is.
yeah. One thing I'm really interested to see in this game is I want to see how this bottom lane matchup works for the SMSU versus the Coyotes.
Hmm.
Kaisa early on really just wants to farm. She wants to get to the hyper carry state. She has 500 attack range versus Caitlyn's 650. So Caitlyn's, if they play that lane correctly, Coyotes lane should be able to get some good aggression onto SMSU. Um, but the Coyotes, their team comp is heavily magic damage stacked.
Yeah.
So if their Caitlyn falls behind at all and they're missing out on that attack damage in their composition, it's really going to hurt them if SMSU itemizes against that
And I would
magic damage
really
early
like to
on.
see SMSU's jungler realize that this game. Keep keep in mind that if that Caitlyn falls too far behind, if he's constantly getting ganked, they're just going to have trouble itemizing properly against SMSU's composition, which is a little bit more mixed damage focused.
Yeah, decent trade coming out there in the top lane. Both of the top laners for the Coyotes and SMSU just kind of back off, trading back and forth, getting some aggression. Both of them level 3. But SMSU, their bottom lane
So a
getting a little
little
pushed
fight
in.
over crab here,
Oh,
and SMSU's jungler gets caught out as the mid
hmm.
lane collapse comes through. A lot of damage being traded into top lane here. And that is going to be an early scuttle secured for Amumu with the help of his bot lane and mid lane.
Yeah, Coyotes Amumu definitely don't know if he's specifically targeting his bot lane because they're um, lacking that magic damage, but that's gonna be major.
Large
Big
trade
trades
into
coming out
top
here on
again.
top.
And SMSU's Udyr, he's going to go ahead and try to get this buff here. Amumu should see him coming, though. Will he be able to finish this before Amumu gets there?
Amumu quite a lot more health than Udyr, but
Okay.
Udyr being the duelist he is, Amumu has not necessarily as much potential to kill him.
Yep. And, he's got that extra speed. He finished his crab before Amumu was able to get there fully, so he's able to get out with that. And that's a fairly even trade when we look at the crab trade there. A
Ooh, Udyr
little bit
set up
of
for a
pressure
good
going on
gank.
mid here.
He's going to push.
This
Gets the
should be a
stun
free kill
off.
onto Oriana, or onto Cassiopeia. Nice play from SMSU, taking the lead early in this game.
Yeah, Cassio just pushed up there a little bit too much and doesn't have vision in that side brush to see that Udyr before she gets ganked.
Mm-hmm. And it's, if we look at this lane, Top's pushing into SMSU. This is a good position for Set to be in. He's got a lot of extra farm to clean up here. And then if we look at bot lane here, it's fairly even minion wave wise, but SMSU does have a 4 CS lead, so that's pretty important for SMSU. Seem to be winning both of those lanes fairly well.
Yeah, not a lot of damage on SMSU's Kai'Sa or the Morgana. Coyotes Caitlyn not necessarily looking like she's abusing that extra 150 range she has over them.
It is a little scary though against Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa just does so much damage. So if you overextend, you get caught by that binding. That's quickly able to get a kill with Kai'Sa's high damage output early.
This is very true.
Especially if you're isolated, all that Q damage comes onto you. It's insane how much damage that does.
The vision control for Coyotes towards their bot lane is going to fade a little bit here as the Scuttle Crab wears off. They still do have a ward in that bottom bush. A little bit of damage coming out from Coyotes top laner onto Set, but Set's going to be under tower. He feels safe there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Set's gonna be fine taking this this farm trade. Looks like Cho'Gath is gonna look for an early recall. He has now hit 6, so he might be looking to stack up on minions. Oh, a little bit of a missed ult there by the Oriana, but not sure it will matter as Udyr is able to get on the other side. Oriana, is she gonna live?
Oriana does burn her flash there, but she still has her ignite, so if she can back here, if Udyr can help her push that wave into tower, she can deny some good farm and get back, get her items, and then come back to lane. And I take that back. She did actually use ignite. I apologize.
Yeah, she ignited right away. Oh no, she ignited for the last fight. That ignite's coming back up and shortly here.
That may have been a visual glitch on our end.
Yep. Let's see if we can get that scoreboard up consistently for you guys. There we go.
Bot lane, pretty even. Not a lot of aggression. Neither team really fully committing. Probably both just waiting till they get 6. A little bit of trade coming out in the top lane here. So it's going to get his W off, but
Nice
he does come out a little low in that trade.
And it looks like that. And there's a nice kill onto Caitlyn there with another Udyr game. I'm really liking the SMSU's jungling this game. A lot more gank focused, a lot less selfish this game, and it's paying off huge for SMSU.
SMSU
able to get a massive
should be able
lead
to convert that into
and they
a
should
dragon
be able
here.
to get a free dragon for that too. I agree.
A lot of pressure coming out on the map. That top lane, neither kill going on. Cho'Gath up 10 CS, but that 10 CS is not going to be nearly enough to compensate for what's going on in the bottom half of the map or in the mid.
Yeah, and now you look at it, and it's a 2k gold lead about for SMSU with the first dragon. Unfortunately, it is that Earth Dragon, not as impactful as some of that Mountain Dragon, but it's still something. Moving closer to Soul, moving closer, getting that next dragon spawning. Hopefully, they're going to be able to play around that. As this Mountain Soul doesn't do as much for SMSU as they would like.
Yeah, Cho'Gath on to Set doesn't necessarily have as much kill pressure up in that top lane.
But if you look at the way that matchup goes, it's actually a team fight counter pick rather than a lane counter pick, as that Set gets bonus damage based on the HP of the target of his ult. So if he's able to push him into his team, that could one-shot the Caitlyn.
Absolutely. SMSU definitely in these team fights going to be looking to get that Ori ball onto Set, have
Hmm.
Set dive into their team,
Ooh,
do
that's a
his
good
damage with his
trade onto
ult,
the Cho'Gath there.
and get that Ori ult off.
And look, Udyr thinks he wants to gank top here.
And
This
Cho
looks
far
like
too
it
pushed
should be
in.
free. Oh, nice flash. Able
Gets
to
the
avoid
flash.
that.
Ult comes
The
out,
bonus damage from the ult.
and that is going to
Nice.
be a simple.
Oh,
Oh,
but the
counter
trade
gank.
back mid. And that's what we were talking about earlier is that mid vision control is going to be really important in this game. And Cassiopeia able to get the kill with the help of Amumu there.
Amumu gonna have to back here. SMSU's top gonna push in with their Udyr and Set. Maybe get some vision control around Rift Herald. We'll see. Might not necessarily have the control they need yet to capitalize on that.
Mm-hmm.
But
All
Udyr
right.
is pinging it.
Looks like
Does get
Udyr
some
wants
vision down.
this crab. But it is still a little bit before it's spawning here. So he's just going to go back. Buffs are respawning. Umumu got his blue buff. Udyr's going to go ahead and get his red. He knows his blue buff should be coming up soon because that's where Umumu went for his second buff. So probably just cleaning up jungle right now. I'm curious if they can test each other for this scuttle as it comes up pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think SMSU's team comp here versus the Coyotes is really punishing them
Mm-hmm.
in that bot lane. You have that Caitlyn against that Kai'Sa with the Rel, but SMSU has that Morgana, so her Black Shield is there to counter engage and keep
Yep.
that Kai'Sa alive.
And that's what we've seen. SMSU does favor that counter engage, those defensive supports, those enchanters that instead of engaging themselves, look for the counter engage, look for the pick with the snare. Other than that, just take the free farm. Looks like Udyr is going to be coming top here, maybe for another kill into Cho'Gath. Or is he going to just go straight for that scuttle? He's going to go ahead and get a pink ward here, so now he knows this is safe for him to walk up on. Cho'Gath sniffs it out, though, by the looks of it, and I think he's out of range for this play here.
They're gonna get some damage onto Cho'Gath, but they
It's
don't
not going to
have.
matter much. With Cho'Gath's passive being able to heal him up in lane, I don't think he's going to be sad about that at all. But we do see a collapse coming from South Dakota here. Looks like they're just going to take the scuttle for free. Oriana now sniffs it out, but I don't think there's anything they can do about it. Ooh, there's a fight going on bottom here, though.
A lot of action going on bottom.
But if they're able to, they might be able to follow up on this.
SMSU getting a lot of damage on that as they kite out into counter engage.
I would have liked to see that Kai'Sa go in on that. I think that was a one-team fight from SMSU. The route overextended a little bit there.
Coyotes pushing
hard.
up into SMSU's topside jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Catching that Oriana out a little bit. Cassio doesn't have necessarily the ability to get her right away there. So she's just going to get some damage onto her.
No,
Get
this
some
is
more pressure
scary
in the
though.
mid.
Okay, he does see the Mumu coming through. He's gonna play a little bit more safe. Make sure he doesn't get ulted by the Cassiopeia. Scary situation there for SMSU though. And it looks like mid lane is falling behind in CS by quite a bit now. Down 26 CS. Top lane down 12 CS. That's a little unfortunate for SMSU, as SMSU Deer is also behind, but he makes up for all that gold he's lost in CS in the amount of kills that this Udyr has been a part of. Been a part of all 5 of SMSU's kills.
Yeah, those 4 kills on Udyr not necessarily going to be as impactful as if he had gotten them onto his teammate, but they're going to catch a Mumu out here in Dragon Pit, and that is just a free kill, but it goes to SMSU support. More commotion going up on the top lane here.
Yeah. And I don't know if SMSU is going to be terribly sad about this. Now, this set's going to have to be a little scared here. This Cho'Gath ult should be coming through pretty soon. It looks like it might finish him, but the turnaround, not quite enough damage, not quite in tower range there.
Quite.
But SMSU are able to trade back on the mid lane, getting another gank off on that Cassiopeia. That's really helping this Oriana stay in the game.
Absolutely. Dragon going to spawn in here now. SMSU does have full vision control. Udyr's just going to start it, and Udyr being Udyr, he can solo this as Dragon.
Yep.
He has the pink ward. I don't
Amumu's
quite remember what to call him right now.
Sentry wards, I believe.
Sentry wards is what they're called now. Back in my day, we called them pink wards.
They're still pink. It still works.
Udyr going to get that dragon for free, and that's an air dragon going over to SMSU. The blue buff's going to spawn. Udyr
and it looks like it's going to be an Infernal Soul this game, so that'll be interesting. We see the map change come through here as the Infernal Dragon spawns.
I'd like to see SMSU's Udyr here realize that he has the power to influence these lanes more and really punish that bot lane. Put Coyotes Caitlyn further behind. Isolate that physical damage out of their team comp and make it so that SMSU can just simply itemize against it. We can already see a couple null magic mantles on Set and on Udyr.
Though I don't mind the way he's played this game so far. He has ganked mid a lot. He's helped relieve a lot of that dangerous pressure that Cassiopeia has been bringing to these fights. Oriana is down by 18 CS, but at least she's not down the 1 and 3 KDA of Cassiopeia there. And Udyr probably going to get a recall off, and now needs to establish himself.
Yeah.
Had a lot of money in his
Yep.
pocket, I'm sure. Looking to now establish some control. Knows he's probably strong enough to 1 versus 1 any lane at this point. So anybody that he ganks has a good opportunity of getting a kill.
I should eat my words there a little bit. Bot lane, Kaisa is up 3 kills
Yeah.
and around 20 CS against that Caitlyn. And Caitlyn's going to start to hit her mid-game power dip.
Do they catch this Cho'Gath here? It looks like they're going to catch. I don't like the running out of the bush there. It looked like he was going to get face checked anyway. But I don't know if it'll matter.
He
does have flash up. Is he going to get. Nice play by SMSU there. I really like that Set ult.
Oh, but Udyr gonna get
Set should be positioning himself here for that dive. Looks like.
Udyr's going to commit too much to this.
I don't like that play.
And Set's going to get caught out by the Amumu and the Cassio. Ori's there, throws her ult, but is that going to be enough?
Needs a slow onto the Cassiopeia or...
Gets the...
and the flash. Does Oriana have flash here? Does not have flash either. This is going to be 3... No, is she going to get out? Is she going to be able to trade this kill back onto Amumu? Oh, this is unfortunate.
Uses her stopwatch,
they just threw away their complete lead that they did have.
That lead completely closing now. Yep. SMSU just up 300 gold. Massive outplay there. That little juggle with the spike fruit and the ult and the flashes coming out on mid really screwed up that could have been just an easily snowballed.
I would have liked to see the Set just walk in and tank turret for Udyr there.
Yeah.
At worst case scenario, then at least you finish off the kill. Being a little scared and then giving up all 3 kills, I mean, that's just not worth it. But we'll see if SMSU is able to recover here. Dragon should be spawning in a couple minutes here. That's probably the next big timer we got to pay attention to here. Well, let's get objective timers turned on so we can take a look at that. Another gank coming up here by SMSU. They really want to keep this Udyr back, or this Cho'Gath back, but is spotted out by that blue trinket.
Yeah, with as much vision control as the Coyotes have towards their bottom lane, it's really hard for Udyr to actually get some ganks down there.
Look at that
lot of damage.
She's actually going to go in for the kill. And that's just a free insta kill onto Caitlyn.
Avoids the Rail's abilities, and SMSU's bottom lane just going to push this in here.
And unfortunately, the plates have fallen by now, but it would have been really nice for SMSU to push in after that and get some plates. Looks like Amumu's going to lean bottom a little bit. Might be looking to punish this bot lane if they overextend for that turret. But is just going to do his Krugs here.
SMSU getting some good damage out on this turret.
They might even be able to finish this turret as they also look for a gank onto this Cho'Gath. Is this Oriana collapse going to be able to make the difference? No, they're not going to go for it. They call it off. And they're just going to go back to lanes as they take first tower of the game. And now Oriana pinging that dragon. They know that next dragon, that's the next important team fight. Everybody needs to be bought, ready to go for that dragon control.
See what Udyr here does here. Hopefully he can get some camps here and maybe establish a little bit of vision control towards this bottom lane, prepping for this dragon.
So he's just going to clear his gromp. And now I'd really like to have seen him establish a little bit more control on early here. This Cho'Gath's been brought down, and the TP is down from SMSU. They really shouldn't be contesting this dragon if they're not going to bring Set down. Looks like Set is just going to go for turret damage. SMSU needs to recognize this and not contest this dragon.
SMSU going to look like they're going to just not contest this, hopefully anyways, and trade it for a tower.
Now, this isn't the worst trade. I do wish SMSU would go for this dragon, have brought Set down just because they were on point to get that soul so early this game. And they recognized it really late. If they had recognized what was going on a little bit earlier, they could have set up this Herald.
SMSU doesn't have vision control up here, other than that one ward.
And they see that they're getting
Oh,
collapsed on here. They need to get out on these two players. We're going to look
perhaps
backwards a
thinking
little
they
bit.
could try and convert that Dragon trade into an Rift Herald take,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh,
not having the vision control for it.
we'll see if they decide to go for this or not.
We may
Doesn't
see our
look like it.
first team fight of the game here.
As look at this bot lane rotating up from SMSU as Caitlyn's stuck bottom. They should be able to use this to force a fight here. And there goes the Udyr. Stun onto
Oh, and
the
Kaisa comes into the
Mumu.
game. But she gets
Oh, that's a
ulted by
big Cassiopeia ult. She just gets taken out before she's able to do anything here.
two
Oh.
massive ults coming out.
And look at that. Damage coming in by Set, though. Able to get a big ult off here.
Set gonna be able to turn this fight completely
Orianna
around.
is now, and they have to be scared of this Caitlyn being able to put out a lot of damage as they don't have enough damage of themselves. So they back out with a one team fight, but honestly, they should have been able to win that a lot cleaner. I'm not sure what took the Orianna and Morgana so long to make it to that team fight. It looked like it was going to be an easy win,
Ooh, they catch
but they just
Binding.
weren't able to get there. Caitlyn punishing out a lot of damage onto Set.
Yeah, we got a glimpse there in that team fight of just what Coyotes team comp can do with
What
that
that
Amumu
wombo
alt,
combo.
with that wombo combo with the Amumu and the Casio. You have to be really scared of that. That is what turned that team fight from being a 3 for none trade into a 2 for 3 trade.
Yep. And what I would have liked to see actually is if Kaisa came at it a little bit different of an angle and to force that Cassiopeia to choose a side to ult.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the huge change in that team fight because she was taken out by herself. But if they ult just the Kaisa there, everybody else kills that Cassiopeia and Kaisa lives. Or if she doesn't get the Cassiopeia caught in her ult, that Cassiopeia dies to the Kaisa damage really quickly in that team fight, and I think that's a lot better team fight for SMSU.
I really like the aggression that came out from Kaisa in that team fight, but maybe diving in a little too early before the powerful ults for Coyotes had been expended.
Exactly. If you're going to come in that early again, you just, oh, looks like a nice pick from SMSU onto the Rel. That's just a support, but it is a good kill here, and maybe they can translate that to a mid-tier 1. Doesn't look like they quite, oh, are they going to get caught out here? Nice Morgana Black Shield just to make sure they don't have follow-up. As Set is just going to farm this wave and push top in here. Another 2 minutes until we've got a dragon play coming up here, and I keep messing up that scoreboard. I hate that. Well, looks like we got a little bit of a stalemate going on mid. The Rel still coming from base. SMSU, I don't think they should really be looking for an engage here. I think they should be trying to push in some side waves, denying some farm here. But it looks like they're going to look for it. The Rel now grouping with their team, getting that buff onto the Mumu as they walk together to establish dragon control.
Yep.
It's nice to see a team do this. It's a minute 30 before dragon.
Mm-hmm.
They know dragon's the priority right now, so they all group up. They use their wards to get vision control here. Now if they recall out, even if some of their vision gets cleared, some of it will stick. They'll have a little bit of info when they come back for that revision control in about a minute.
Yeah. Oh. Caitlyn taking out the Morgana.
And it looked like she was maybe trying to clear a ward there in mid, a little caught out, being a little too aggressive without her team.
Yeah, well, Coyotes established mid control and posture here in the mid to just set themselves up for that dragon. SMSU just kind of farming their jungle and not really making a lot of moves in either of their side lanes.
Yeah, I would really like to see a wave crashing somewhere at this point. You know, dragon's about to spawn now, so it's getting too late to get that pressure going. Orianna decides to back since Morgana's down. Are they going to contest this dragon? It looks like it's up in 20 seconds. Orianna and Morgana should be able to make it just as dragon's spawning.
Shogath and Rel for Coyotes also going to be coming back from lane. Going to be a little bit behind SMSU's Orianna Morgana.
This Udyr's just going to engage a little bit in front of his team.
Nothing really, just wasting his flash there. None of his teammates there to
a little
back
too
him up.
Aggressive of a play. If Morgana and Orianna were there, I don't mind that play as the Orianna ult could have came through, helping finish off that kill. Did they trade the Caitlyn? They did trade the Caitlyn flash heal though. So that's actually probably pretty good for SMSU. It's just Caitlin's going to be a lot more susceptible to the combo of SMSU.
SMSU's Kaisa also having her flash and her heal.
See, it looks like there's going to be a team fight over this dragon.
Who's gonna start?
And
Udyr
Udyr is
gets
going
the
to steal the
smite,
dragon there. It's a
but the
big play by
wombo
SMSU.
combo coming out from
But it's
Coyotes.
not onto the important targets. SMSU staying alive in these team fights. This is big for SMSU. I still think they can win this. They just need to get together with their Kaisa here. Kite it
Kaisa
out with
kading
Oriana.
out.
She's doing so much damage,
Oh, but
but
she gets flashed
gets
on by the
caught.
Cho'Gath.
I think that Oriana and Kaisa need to stay a little bit more grouped in that team fight if SMSU wants to win it. Though they do secure the Dragon, a 3-for-1, probably not quite worth it, as South Dakota looks like they might be positioning for a Baron play here.
SMSU really needs to make a play here on some part of the map. They need to get some type of objective to counter the members they just lost in that fight. They do set themselves up with the Inferno there to get the Soul next Dragon.
Yep. This is SMSU. I don't think they need to set up anything except wait for the next Dragon. Don't lose anything. Gold's still even. They're not falling behind. If they can look to set up vision control around Dragon, get a pick before Dragon, get an early soul, that'd be huge for SMSU in this game. And it looks like Zonia's finished on Oriana. That's going to be a big item in surviving some of these combos that are coming up from the Coyotes here. Looks like SMSU's getting close to an item on set too, so they're really going to want to finish that soon. Thornmail done on that Cho'Gath. He really doesn't want to get auto-attacked. Interesting item choice, though, considering the AD carry attacking, is Kaisa. A lot less of that magic damage going through, and a lot less physical damage going through, and a lot more magic damage going through from that Kaisa.
We see a similar thing coming out on Amumu here. Both Amumu and Cho'Gath have Thornmail and Tabby.
Now, I would understand that if there's a little bit more healing on SMSU's roster, but there isn't a lot of healing, so it's a really interesting item build choice by the Coyotes here, and it might end up costing them. Maybe some of this gold lead is deceptive here, as a lot of that gold's been wasted on items like Thornmail.
Yeah,
Looks like
Udyr and
SMSU.
Set definitely going to be auto attacking, but they're not the ones you need to worry about in this team
Yeah,
fight.
I agree. It's this after you have the Oriana combo come through and some of that Udyr damage mixed in, and then that Set alt mixed in. It's all on to Kaisa after that. It's really
Absolutely.
she's going to be doing a lot of the damage in these team fights. So it's a really interesting item choice. Now it still does do something that reflect damage still matters, but the damage reduction of the armor doesn't apply as much to Kaisa as it does to other characters.
Yeah, especially with the mixed damage
Yep.
Kaisa's doing. And it's not going to do anything against that Oriana damage that's going to be coming out.
Now I'd like to see it. I don't know if Kaisa's looked at kind of the item builds that are going on right now, but I'd like to see her kind of shift to a more magic damage focused build as she sees these Thornmails coming out. Might as well go for that magic damage build, as there is no magic resist being built by the Coyotes here.
Yeah, possibly see. Would you like to see a more on-hit focus build, or
I wouldn't even mind to see Zonia's this game. Zonia's going to be really good at avoiding that Cho'Gath combo, that Amumu combo, that Cassiopeia combo. Does give you the magic damage that triggers with her abilities that are going to end up doing a lot more mixed damage focused. You could see a Gwynsu's coming out this game. That would be a pretty good choice. Picking up the Zeal here from Kaisa. Really looking for a team fight, forcing an item by there. Didn't look like she needed to recall, so maybe they're going to be looking for a fight here. And we have about a minute before that Infernal Soul comes up. So a minute, SMSU should be establishing vision control. Now, Set's backing. Oriana's backing. It looks like that might be what their aim here is.
Scuttle
But
did just spawn?
on the opposite side, we have got the Coyotes getting control over Baron. Maybe they're going to try to trade that Baron for the Infernal Soul. That might end up being pretty impactful. 40 seconds here. SMSU really needs to group. Udyr recalling late. I don't know why he didn't recall at the same time as his teammates. He's going to be late to this dragon. If they're going to contest this dragon, they need to get vision control. They're not ahead enough to force themselves onto this dragon.
3 wards in the Scuttle going to be down there for vision control for the Coyotes. Plus, they have vision control up by Baron, so in the river, they have this full control, and SMSU, it's going to be dangerous for them to challenge some of this.
Now, I do like this by SMSU, forcing that wave to bounce
Ooh,
after
they
a
do get...
little bit of damage here, but they have to be scared of this Amumu ult. Not quite the trade SMSU wants. Udyr a little low. Should be trying to heal up a little bit here. They did a lot of damage to the Rel, but the Rel isn't the important target here. I would say Udyr's a lot more important. He's taken a lot of damage. Is this dragon being started here now? Now it is. Okay. Coyotes onto the dragon. Let's see if SMSU is able to get it. Not able to get in for the steal. Are they able to get the team fight out of it?
Oh, Amumu ult comes out.
Morgana getting comboing out here. But SMSU's Udyr also taking a lot of damage. Oh, and then Amumu back onto the back lines. SMSU's Kaisa just not putting out enough damage in this team fight. A 3-for-0 for the Coyotes. That should be Baron for them as well. Now they're starting to swing this game back in the Coyotes' favor.
A lot of big plays coming out from the Coyotes. Amumu here really making these team fights work, getting those big ults down, and being a really scary presence against SMSU's carries.
SMSU's gonna have to find a way to neutralize this Amumu. He's been a lot of the problem most of this game. This Cho'Gath and Amumu that they were expecting to come out, they still haven't found a good way of countering him. Are they gonna go for the steal? Not quite the steal.
Does manage to pick up Amumu, but Amumu for Baron, that's not what
That's
you're
a
looking
great
for.
trade if you're Coyotes there. You're happy about that.
Absolutely.
And now we see the gold swinging in the Coyotes' favor here. What used to be a 2 to 3K gold advantage for SMSU, now being a 2 to 3K gold advantage for the Coyotes here.
SMSU still not having that mid turret. Both the teams about even. We did see at one point SMSU had 2 turrets and Coyotes had none, but Coyotes now have that top turret. But more importantly, they have that Baron and they have those dragons.
Yep. And we do see that this Udyr starting to die off a bit. He started 4-0. He started with a really strong start and has now given away his life 3 times without getting another kill. Got a few more assists in there, a few team fights that didn't go SMSU's way. But you'd really like to see that Udyr having more impact with how great of a start he had in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, Udyr definitely for SMSU making a couple questionable decisions. Specifically, I believe it was the fifth dragon to go down, the one that he stole, flashing in and wasting some of his utility before the fight had even started to just get some damage that didn't equate to anything.
And you got chunked out that dragon as well. So you'd really like to see him staying full health, waiting for his team to be ready to make this play. Seems like a little bit, getting caught out by himself rather than using the team to win a dragon fight.
Almost like to see him start to shift his game plan from diving into their team to just kiting backwards and trying to keep his Kaisa and Orianna alive.
I think SMSU's misplaying their team fight really hard with they keep diving in on the enemies instead of just kiting out these fights. Once those combos are down, with Kaisa alive, as long as people don't get picked off, they should win those fights.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to dive into a Cho'Gath and a Mumu and a Cassio right in your face.
You can't overgroup either, but you have to find a little bit of a middle ground with separated enough from the team fight, but then using your skills to kite backwards and extend these team fights.
The Coyotes really pushing their advantage here with that Baron getting 2 towers to fall, working on this inhib tower.
Oh, and it's engaged by Set here. Looks like he's pulled most of them together.
Kaisa's going to dive in there, but she gets hit by the Cho'Gath Q, and she's going to stay alive, but
this Orianna's
Amumu is just going to take out.
Oh, that's such an unfortunate team fight from SMSU, and that might actually be the end of the game as they are able to push that inhib. Another 30 seconds on everyone on SMSU. That's going to be the end of the game.
Yeah,
I don't think Kaisa can do anything against it. And I'm just stunned up right away here. Look at the amount of CC coming out from the Coyotes here, and SMSU falls 1-0. And we will be taking a break, and we will be back with the next champion select for you guys.
Yeah, so thank you, and we'll be right back.
One.
Welcome back to SMSU Esports for Game 2 of SMSU League of Legends versus the South Dakota Coyotes. We have about a minute here before the game loads up, um, and we've got a little bit to talk about
Yeah, it
coming into
looks
pick
like
and ban here.
yeah, South Dakota kept all three same bands, which was or for their first bands, which is interesting. Pinching that jungle pool again. Where SMSU changed up their bands, they banned out that Amumu, who was causing a lot of problems last game, so they decided just to get rid of it. Don't feel like working on what's the solution to the Amumu pick. Just
Hmm.
get rid of it. Don't have to think about it. And then SMSU decided to change up their 80 carry pick and picked Caitlyn first, picking that away from the Coyotes and securing a strong pick for SMSU. Not a lot of counters to Caitlyn, so it's a pretty strong pick for them there.
Yeah, Caitlyn, a generally all around pretty safe ADC with that 650 attack range, able to poke out and bully her lane opponents a little bit. SMSU definitely trying to pinch the Coyotes ADC. We see that MF and that Lucian ban coming out in the first round, though that Lucian ban more likely going towards
Yeah.
the Coyotes mid lane.
You see a
But
lot
then
of Lucian mid nowadays. You don't see a lot of Lucian AD carry.
first picking that Caitlyn away,
Yep.
taking away that safe pick, and then the Coyotes not picking their ADC in their first rounds of picks, and then SMSU banning out that Ashe.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think, SMSU really wanted to make sure that AD carry doesn't get going the same way they were going the game before. So it'll be really interesting to see if that has impact this game. We did
yeah,
see the Vladimir come out, and since they also pinched that jungle pool a bit, that Kane come out. So two different characters coming out there in the first early draft by the Coyotes. And we'll see if they have a different game plan. Looks like they might go for an invade onto SMSU's red buff.
now, one thing that really didn't change for the team comp for the Coyotes is we're going to see that Cho'Gath once again.
Well, the Caitlyn spot or the Soraka spots it out, but is able to get back to safety. No one going in on the Coyotes there. Falling back to their normal safety. Looks like they like the 5-man stack in this push here. We'll see if they decide to do it this game.
Yeah, a lot less engaged coming out in Coyotes team comp. They have that Cho'Gath and they have that Vlad, but they don't necessarily have those dash abilities to get straight into that team fight. They
Yeah,
kind
I
of
would
have to
say they
walk
don't
towards
have
them.
that hard engage that they had last game. That Amumu able to get in there, lock people down, set up the plays, set up the Cho'Gath, set up that Cassiopeia ult. This time, you're going to go fishing with that Cho'Gath Q, but that's super dodgeable. It's a little bit more risky to use on somebody who's not already crowd controlled. So
Hmm.
SMSU will have to now avoid this Seraphine, who is going to be their new engage. Their support's going to be looking for a flash in, an ult onto the team, then drop the Vlad ult on top of that, then drop the Cho'Gath Q on top of that. That is how the Coyotes are going to win. Where SMSU are going to look for a Fiddle ult on top of their team into that Cassiopeia combo, stealing that combo a bit from the Coyotes, looking for a Gnar engage, a Mega Gnar jumping over in the team, knocking everybody into the wall, or just kiting these fights back and baiting that CC uh, out.
I always love a good Gnar. A good Mega Gnar ult,
Mhm.
you can't get better than it.
It just feels so good when you hit it.
It does indeed. Just transforming into Mega Gnar feels great.
Yep. SMSU taking a little bit of pressure bottom. Looks like they're going to get a similar advantage to what they had last game. SMSU's Cassiopeia doing a little bit better than they started last game, but it is level 1, so it's hard to say too much.
Yeah, a generally safe lane for SMSU's bottom lane, though. They don't have the Morgana this time around to Black Shield and protect their ADC, but Caitlyn with that extra
Mhm.
range hopefully won't need as much. She just has to make sure she doesn't get caught out by that Seraphine.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't get comboed out either. You got the Soraka there, heal her up after each of these engages.
Ooh,
Soraka caught out
trade
a
coming
bit as
out.
they were going to go for a little poke, maybe a little of that heal back poke that Soraka has, but caught out a little bit here. Should be fine, though.
Caitlyn has the headshot. Pops it onto the... Ooh, gets some good damage onto that Seraphine. But they're going to be under tower. They're
Yep.
safe.
This is a pretty straightforward start. We don't see anything weird coming out here. Fiddle farming up, Kane taking top scuttle. Fiddle's probably going to go for bottom scuttle. This is all trades that we would expect. And a big trade coming out. SMU's Minoka is out of mana here, unable to finish off the kill. Just one more auto attack would have gotten it.
Oh, big fight there in the mid, but both gonna walk away fairly unharmed. Oh, gets
Oh, a
the
flash in
flash.
from Vlad there. Able to pick up the
Gonna
kill.
get out, and
And
that is a
Minoka's gonna
free
be.
kill.
Uh,
Plus, he's gonna get this. Oh,
oh,
gets taken down by turret, but Cassio doesn't have the damage on him recently enough to get that kill.
that's
Um,
really sad from SMSU. If they were able to get, a little bit longer of that poison onto him, being able to get a free kill back would have been huge for
attempted
Cassiopeia's lane.
gank up on top, but Nari's just gonna bounce away, and he'll be fine. Fiddle here, looking probably just to mainly farm up here, try and hit his 6. The bottom lane is a little extended, but they have full vision control by the Coyotes. So Fiddle, if he's gonna gank, the
Ooh,
Coyotes will
look
see
at
him.
that damage! Oh, nice catch out by DK man there, getting a free kill onto their support.
Oh,
Huge play.
I got a little mixed up there. That's actually SMSU's vision control on the bottom lane,
Yep.
not the Coyotes' vision control. I apologize for that, but big kill there coming out early on Caitlyn. Caitlyn is quite the lane bully,
Mm-hmm.
and
Gets
if you
that headshot up, gets that net, in that headshot into headshot, just so much damage onto
and that
that Zerker.
Soraka Caitlyn combo
Yep.
is really hard too, because Caitlyn can push, take a trade, and then just get healed up by that
Yep.
Soraka, and outlast their lane opponents.
It looks like with that kill onto Cassiopeia, the kill just barely not going her
Nard
way.
dodge the Q from Cho'Gath. Gonna get some more autos out onto him, but fairly straightforward matchup here in the top lane. They're both just gonna want to farm up, try and get a little tanky. Both got 30 CS, haven't backed yet.
It'll be interesting to see how this mid lane matchup goes. Cassiopeia had the advantage until that mishap in mid lane where she was unable to finish the kill and then gets dove by the Vlad. So we'll see if she's able to recover. If she's falling behind in CS here and gonna be falling behind in pressure too.
Meganar comes out in top lane, gonna trade out with the Cho'Gath.
Looks like Meganar might be able to get a little bit extra damage here. Cho'Gath overstays. He
Ooh.
might get a kill here. Is he able to hit the boulder? The house from downtown. Oh, it transforms and just short.
Still gets the cannon though.
Yep.
That's the important part. Gonna force Cho'Gath here back.
Cho'Gath
Push
does
this
have
lane.
TP. He should be TPing back to this, as this is going to be a giant wave, and he doesn't want to miss this much experience in the top lane.
No, really just
Nice.
looking to try and fast push this in.
Look
and
at
then
this
get his
game
back
plan
off as
by the
well.
Coyotes. He's not TPing. Oh, he TPs last second. Okay. It looked like he was going to walk out of base and he was really going to play for his team, but I think it's just a bad play. You can't fall behind too far, even if you're trying to help your team.
A little bit of posturing towards the bottom lane. Kane has that pink ward, well, Sentry ward. Either or, both work.
Yep.
In that bottom lane. But SMSU not quite pushed up enough.
And
Fourth
Fiddle
lane
does get
can't
vision of him there.
necessarily.
He's able to
Ooh, but Fiddle.
see that he's on Scuttle. See if he decides to ult in on this. He is 6. So no, he's not. He's still 5. So he should just leave this. There's no point in sticking around. He's wasting time. He should just be on the other side of it, getting some jungle creeps, or getting a kill into this Vlad if it presents itself. But
Fiddle not quite 6 yet here. Just hits it.
there, he dings 6 just off that mid XP.
While we were looking at bot lane, Nar just uses his teleport up top. Does have level on this Cho'Gath right now.
This Caitlyn, she's getting pretty far ahead here. If she's able to hit 6, a little bit more damage on that Seraphine, and that should be a kill as long as the AD carry is unable to block it. And we see a gank going on top at, we just barely missed there. Looks like Fiddle must have just ulted directly onto that Cho'Gath, punishing him because that TP is down. This is massive. SMSU should be pushing this wave, another wave here. That TP's down, he can't come up. There's a little bit of a mistake to early recall here. They should have gotten another plate, maybe even 2.
Yep.
Oh, and speaking of, there's a kill that goes on bot lane while we were distracted by that top lane kill. This auto direct not really coming in very handy here, as I get talk about one point and it doesn't try to catch the kills for me. Maybe we should check mid before our kill goes down mid.
Oh, another kill getting onto that Caitlyn. She has a little bit of a bounty on her head now, but if that Caitlyn can, if SMSU's Caitlyn can take this lead that she has and keep snowballing it and keep putting pressure onto that Zaya and that
Hmm.
Seraphine, she can become a really big monster for SMSU.
Yeah, and we see Fiddle starting up his blue buff now, trying to get back into the rotation of things. Soraka taking a lot of damage there. Will SMSU be able to trade back?
All it
A
comes out
lot
from
of damage coming
Kaisa.
on. That's that
Oh,
snare.
exhaust goes on that Caitlyn, but
Soraka is there. You can't kill Caitlyn without killing Soraka. A fight coming up top though. Not unable
oh,
to get that stun into
doesn't
the wall,
quite get
just a
the stun
pixel
to
short.
connect.
That's so unfortunate. That should have been a kill if that would have connected. And that's
It,
that Seraphine ult down. SMSU really bullying this bot lane. This is really nice to see from SMSU. Let's see if they're able to snowball it into a couple plates here.
yeah, SMSU does have some vision control in this bottom lane. Possibly looks to.
And they really should be shoving this wave. If you see how the Coyotes are in the bottom lane here, they shouldn't be able to deal with this pressure, but SMSU decides to go for early recall. Hopefully a good item finish on Caitlyn, otherwise that was a bad recall. Pickaxe, a dagger, it's okay. I would have liked to see him pressure more. If you're going to back there, you better be getting a full
Yeah,
item.
SMSU potentially missing a big opportunity there to get some more pressure onto the Coyotes, as the Coyotes had their top lane, mid lane, and jungler all recalled, but now SMSU starting this dragon. Oh,
A little bit
starting
in
this dragon a
front of
little
them
late.
here.
Kane is there, but their bot lane and their support aren't there. Kane's gonna go in there. See if we get the smite battle.
Was there no smite up by Fiddle? Just didn't smite there. And
Coyotes
he
is gonna
dies for free.
collapse.
This Cassiopeia, she doesn't have flash either,
But
but
this
she's
Caitlyn
able
is
to
here.
trade a
This
kill
Caitlyn
back.
is strong.
Need to get onto this Vlad.
Seraphine flashes out. Zaya
Oh,
comes
look
into
at
the
this
fight.
damage coming up by Vlad.
Oh, but
This
Caitlyn
is
is
a
in a bad spot. Gets taken out. Trade for the kill in top lane, but SMSU loses that dragon and loses 3 members of their team for it.
Mhm.
Just for a kill in top lane. Well, and top lane's mainly an island, not necessarily affected by what's going on there. Vlad gonna get some damage down onto this tower. Back off.
I think that was a really poor decision by SMSU to go for that dragon. They had no control. They didn't have the vision to see the Kane coming in. Had they seen him, they would have backed out earlier. No flash up by Fiddlesticks. No flash up by Cassiopeia. They get stuck in that pit. They're forced to bring their AD carry up to try to trade back kills, and their AD carry ends up falling behind because of that force as well.
Mm-hmm. And their 80 Soraka and Caitlyn for SMSU had been walking back to lane when that happened. And a really big mistiming there. If SMSU had realized while the Coyotes members were while their jungler wasn't there and capitalized before they did that early recall, they possibly could have gotten that dragon
Yeah,
just for
they could
free.
have done it earlier with the Caitlyn and Soraka still in lane. We had just talked about the Soraka and Caitlyn having a good control over bot lane. Setting up that dragon isn't a bad idea, but if your bot lane's going to recall, you just can't set that up.
Mm-hmm.
We do see that there's a little bit of an advantage going on top lane now. Nar's starting to get a little bit further ahead than that Cho'Gath. Hopefully that they can rely on that to snowball an advantage here, because they did just throw all their advantage from bot lane and mid.
Yeah, I'd like to see SMSU kind of capitalize a little bit on that Gnar, possibly push that top lane out, get that tower if
Mhm.
possible, get some more plates off of it anyways. Um, maybe utilize that power that they have in that lane to get some Rift Herald control. Um, One
Yeah,
big thing of note with the Gnar versus Cho'Gath matchup is even though they're about even on CS and Gnar just has 1 kill over Cho, Gnar has 2 levels on him.
mm-hmm. It's huge. Oh, and Soraka
Oh,
getting caught out here. And the bait in from the Fiddlesticks though. That's a kill on Zaya. That's a big kill for SMSU.
now SMSU needs to push this lane, needs to push it in, but Kane is going to be coming down here.
Look at this pressure. This Vlad's just completely denying the wave to Cassiopeia. She's not able to walk up to her turret. She's just too scared of him.
That Vlad is absolutely deadly right now with 4 kills and a good 20 CS lead on that Cassio. SMSU needs to make something happen here.
A dive coming on him. That's just a free kill. This mid lane is out of control from the Coyotes. SMSU are going to have to find a way to deal with this as he's just diving onto this Cassiopeia now.
Vlad, when he gets ahead, is incredibly scary as he'll just heal out any damage you deal to him, and he will just melt you instantly. Fiddle cannot fight him.
No,
Just
I think
needs to get out of here. He is going to get dove, and
it was a poor play. Have to be aware of how strong that Vlad is right now, and this game is quickly snowballing.
Just feeding another kill over onto him, and Vlad is going to go onto that Soraka, and he is out for blood, as all vampires are.
Yep. Oh, but SMSU does respond by bringing their bot lane up, and Cassiopeia is able to get here. Unable to get the slippery Vlad, though. TP in by Gnar. Are they going to look for a team fight? Gnar just walking through the fight.
Has to flash out. Soraka incredibly low. SMSU.
And Soraka.
Oh, Vlad just he smells blood in that Soraka, and he wants that tower dive.
Now look at this. Coyotes have a 2k gold advantage at this point in the game. This is the same spot that SMSU is at last game. Let's see if the Coyotes are able to use that advantage a lot better than SMSU and able to snowball this to a win instead of letting the game snowball against them.
Dragon going to be up here in 30 seconds.
Look at this.
Cassia will fall
Cassia
for free.
So far behind.
The Coyotes just 5-man mid, and they're just going to push that. The Coyotes really doing a good job of just
doing. Their fiddlesticks needs to be here, needs to be doing something. He's just jungling and letting towers fall.
And now the Coyotes, they know that Dragon's going to be up. They have their ward near it. SMSU doesn't have enough vision control, and they don't have the power right now as a team to necessarily fight them on it. They really just have to give this up. And beyond just Dragon, Vlad is going to take out every little bit of SMSU's farm in their jungle.
And this is what you do when you have an advantage, is you make sure you make that advantage felt. You walk in, you bully them out of their farm. You start starving them off the map so they can't catch back up into the game.
The one gleaming light for SMSU right now is the fact that their Caitlyn is 40 CS up.
Yeah, their Caitlyn is massive this game. Caitlyn's going to need to put on her carry pants because I think people need to get in that backpack.
Absolutely. Cassio quite down here, you know. He's not going to be dishing out as much damage as he needs to be, and that Vlad is going to be incredibly scary. He has 2 needlessly large rods right now.
He's going for that death gap really early, and he's going to be pretty close to finishing that death gap as well.
They really need to focus on kiting that Vlad out of that fight with the Cassio, with the Gnar, with the Fiddle, to keep their Caitlyn alive and get that consistent damage out. They cannot fall to the Coyotes just 5-manning them and catching them out.
Looks like they might try to respond a bit. I don't know about this play. They don't have a lot of people here.
But that is a Vlad, and he is very strong. He is just going to heal up, and all of that damage from him.
Are they able to finish this? They are able to finish the kill at least, though. Big shutdown kill onto Vlad. Is Caitlyn able to get here in time to win this fight? A lot of damage going on onto the Kayn.
Trying to turn.
Can she ult here? Does it? Oh, it's not up. She used it to try to finish off that Vlad.
Very unfortunate as Vlad can simply pull out of her ult.
Yep.
They do manage to get the kill shutdown gold on Vlad, but that gold does go over to Gnar, I believe, is the one?
Yeah, I believe Gnar is the one who got the kill.
So not quite as important or impactful as if they'd gotten that onto Caitlyn. Much would have rather seen that onto Caitlyn, you know, that kill gold plus a
that are onto Cassiopeia. Getting Cassiopeia back in this game is going to be big for SMSU. Not as impactful on that Gnar, unfortunately.
Going to be a little bit tankier, but SMSU needs the damage here to be able to burst down that Vlad.
Yeah, I really think they're going to need to hit him with a Cassiopeia and just burst him down during that. Maybe a Caitlyn trap under him as well. You know, he's still be able to pull out of it, but it will keep him rooted in place, unable to dive onto the back line.
Most likely after Vlad finishes this death cap, he already has the Seeker's Arm Guard, and he's just going to go right in that Azanios, and it's going to be much harder to kill him.
This is a little weird play by SMSU. Let's see if they're able to finish this kill. It felt like Fiddle waited a little bit too long for that play, and this is that Vlad. Oh,
SMSU commits 2
Caitlin's
ults to
so
that,
scared.
and Vlad is just so
Yeah.
strong.
And that's a triple kill for Vlad. And that might just be game for SMSU. I don't know if they're going to be able to deal with Oh, but the Cassiopeia catches kill onto Vlad. That helps a lot. But still, a 3-for-1 trade and a lot of turret pressure that should be coming in from the Coyotes off of that.
Vlad right now can just
Oh, it's
1v3
scary.
SMSU's team,
And that's a
essentially.
death cap finished as well.
Oh my. That is an incredibly scary Vlad.
I don't like the way SMSU's been setting up for these picks onto Vlad. It seems like they only do it with 2 people. If they just had one more person there for all these plays, they would have all worked. But they go a little bit too early or wait a little bit too long. They had that Seraphine if they just went for the play right away, but they let her finish off the ward, waited for her to start walking out before deciding to go for it.
Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more coordinated play coming out from SMSU with their jungler, waiting a little bit, and making sure that when he does ult in, his teammates are on the same page as him and they're ready to be there and follow up on
Yep.
the fear that he applies to them. It's the only way they're going to be able to actually take out this Vlad. And
Ooh.
then once you take him out, you have to worry about the rest of the team.
Good job by Kalen. Dishing out a lot of damage and not really getting caught by the CC there. Hiding it out a little bit. This is a fiddle all into the team. Looks like Nar with a big flank. Damage coming across. The Vlad's not getting focused though, and the Vlad is just walking through the back
Yeah.
lines here. And this Vlad is he's so far ahead.
SMSU really can't deal with him right now. It doesn't matter quite what they do.
I think that was another little bit too forced of a fight. We didn't see the Cassiopeia ready for that fight. The Fiddle goes in, the Gnar goes in, but the Cassiopeia isn't there to follow up on that. Otherwise, that's a good fight for SMSU, but they're just unable to get all the combo together.
And Fiddle there, if he ults in and then flashes, he doesn't get the fear on them, correct? Because they see
Correct.
him.
Yep.
So not even the fear coming out, just the damage. And when you're ulting into a team like that with that Vlad doing all that damage, you really cannot be doing that without your CC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that fear is the most important CC they have against that Vlad. And Soraka gonna get picked looking for ward control. Not such a big deal, but that means Dragon's gonna go over. And then they're gonna be setting up Baron, and I don't know if SMSU are strong enough to fight for the Baron yet.
Yeah, SMSU does not have much vision control at all in their jungle, like we just saw. If you're that Soraka, you cannot be walking into your jungle without knowing where the enemy team is. It's incredibly scary. Oh, and Caitlyn, doesn't get
She's
caught
fine.
out.
Sees it coming. Trying to steal away a little bit of
Oh,
farm,
but the
then get
Vlad.
caught out.
Oh my goodness, the damage instantly chunks Caitlyn down to half health, and his ult comes out just barely not killing her because she does get the Soraka heal.
And Summoner healed there as well, I believe. Yep.
Oh,
And with that, the Coyotes are going to start establishing Baron control. I really like the way they use the pressure they get to get ward coverage before setting up for a play. Now that they know the jungler's dead, no need for ward coverage
yeah.
though. They're not going to come contest. Go grab yourself a nice Baron. Go back, buy, get that advantage that you have, and force your way through top lane, I would say.
Yeah, we can see clearly that the Coyotes know they have an advantage, and once they know they have that advantage, they just five-man group, and they don't give SMSU any opportunities to get free kills on them or to catch them out.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see how they play as a team. You know, the second they know they're ahead, they get that 5-man group together. They know that they're more coordinated together, and they just play around each other so well.
Yeah, you can't exactly get back into the game if you're facing a five-man group that's all ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, the only way to do it is to understand which towers you can defend and which towers you can't, and have your people off farming by themselves. But it looks like SMSU just weren't able to understand that Vlad could dive those kills mid, giving up 2 kills mid to that Vlad dive right in a row. That was really unfortunate for SMSU, and it just allowed this Vlad to snowball out of control.
Now 12-3 with 70 CS on Cassio.
And a 10k gold advantage. They're
absolute monster.
They're up 30% gold on SMSU.
Doesn't even feel like he has to finish out his Zanyas as his third item. He just goes for
Just go for
I
more
believe
damage.
I believe that's a void staff.
Yep.
Yes. They changed all the icons on me. I don't quite remember what they all look like now.
And they just bully their way to an easy inhibitor. Now, it's not the best inhibitor, is that super creeps will bounce off both towers rather than focusing one, but it's still an inhibitor nonetheless. It's holy crap! Look at that damage coming out
Oh,
from Vlad.
full charged E just annihilates
Looks like
SMSU's
this
Gnar.
game is just over. That kill on Dinar, they should be able to push through. Charm onto,
Oh
wow.
my goodness.
And he blows up everyone in SMSU squad, and that should be
Vlad doesn't
game.
even care. He just
Yeah,
knows he
look at
can do
this.
whatever he wants to.
And he
Fiddle.
walks
What
out.
is that? I'll just heal it.
Yep.
And that is a quick game for the Coyotes to win their series against SMSU.
Yeah, a nice 2-0 from the Coyotes there. And that's really unfortunate from SMSU is I think they were pretty excited about this game. They really felt like they had the advantage in this game, but unable to execute the way they thought they should be able to.
Yeah, that first game was very, very close, and then SMSU's misplays, specifically the one they had a really strong early game with their Udyr, had a lot of lane pressure, and they had a lot of vision control. But then that failed gank up in top lane, resulting in them forfeiting their gold lead, possibly tilted them. But then they just didn't seem to maintain proper vision control
Yep.
to capitalize elsewhere on the map, and really they got an early two dragons, which was good for them. But then they weren't able to convert those early two dragons into an early dragon soul with good vision control.
Yeah, I think that play top where they go for the turret instead of dragon, I think that really hurt SMSU's chances in that game. I think they didn't group the same way as the Coyotes, and the Coyotes really established vision control before the play would start, where SMSU would typically be starting to get vision control when the play starts,
Hmm.
making it a lot harder to position properly and to know whether you can or cannot contest dragon in that scenario. But that will do it all for us here at SMSU Esports. Join us next week, Tuesday, as we have a CSGO game and we have got Hearthstone that competes at the same time. There'll be a Hearthstone VOD that goes out before then, but that will be our next live game is Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we'll see you then.
Thank you.